Good evening, everyone. Call the City Council to order at 8 o'clock on Monday evening, June 7th, 2021. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. For this council meeting, and hopefully the last one, we will be implementing the governor's executive order regarding relief for the open meeting law. This allows councilors to participate remotely. All votes will be via roll call. There is one public hearing, and I will go over the process for participating in the public hearing before agenda item number 3. There are 19 items on this evening's agenda, and I will ask the clerk to call the roll to confirm attendance, please.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner is present.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette is present.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas is present.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera is present.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish is present.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin is present.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landis is present.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram is present.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing is present.
Councilor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman is present.
And Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby is present.
11 present, sir.
All councilors are in attendance. Okay, I will now ask the clerk to read agenda item number 1.
Minutes, City Council meeting, May 24th, 2021.
Mr. President,
Councilor Tenera.
on file, please.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file the minutes. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landis votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Roby. Councilor Roby. He is frozen.
She looks frozen. She's frozen. I think she's frozen.
Do you want to take a 2-minute recess to see if we can get...
If you'd like, sir.
Yeah, we'll take a 2-minute recess to see if we can get Councilor Roby's connection established. Texted her or...
Here she comes.
Yes, you were the last vote
Oh.
to accept and place...
Sorry,
on
I
file.
figured you, I didn't freeze. I shut myself off. I hit the wrong button trying to do something else. So I vote yes.
11 yeas, sir.
All right, so we're back from recess, so the Councilor Roby voted yes, so the motion to accept and place on file the minutes is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 2.
Council President Ossing, having Mayor Vigil provide an update to the City Council regarding COVID-19 and city events.
Mr. Mayor, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President, members. So the good news is, we're down to 5 active cases in the city of Marlborough, so that's great news. And for the city and the boards and commissions, teams meetings will be ending next week on the 15th, so it'll be great to see everyone back. We're gonna work to see if we can still record the meetings and work into that as the process changes. But we need everyone, all the boards and commissions and everyone back in their meeting places. In those 5 active cases, we only have 1 active case in the schools, and they had a great clinic a couple of weeks ago, and they will be having a second dose clinic next week the hospital, we will be holding that both at the high school and the middle school. And if someone wasn't available for their first dose and wants to get a first dose that day, they're more than welcome to do that. So the vaccines are going pretty well. We did 705 vaccines last week, so it's starting to come down. Up at that was up at the Marriott. 312 of those were from Marlboro. So there were, it's definitely coming down. The testing, we did 533 tests at the Stop the Spread down up at the hospital. It's not at the sports center anymore. It's at the hospital, and they're going to continue doing that through September. And if you do want a vaccine, we're going to run our clinic down at the Marriott with the hospital up through June. Then we're trying to work with other arrangements to figure out what we're going to do after that. It won't be in the hotel. It will be somewhere in the city. My guess is we're going to be pushing a lot more people to the Walgreens, the CVS's, and Bouvier's is offering vaccines also. So all the Walgreens, the CVS's, and Bouvier's are offering vaccines now, and hopefully we can promote that and still have that moving. We have 65% of the city has had one dose. 52% of the city is fully vaccinated at this point. And I think that something that the health department has really worked hard at and been pretty successful, it came a little bit later, so the numbers aren't quite as good, but 65% of our Hispanic population has had one dose also, so it matches where we are citywide, and only 45% of them are fully vaccinated, but they'll be getting their second dose shortly, and so we'll probably end up somewhere around 70% completely vaccinated when all is said and done. I don't know how much more we're going to do after that, probably some stragglers, but there's going to be a lot of people that say, I just don't feel I need it, which is their prerogative, and that's fine. So we're going to probably level off somewhere in there, and as I said, we see it slowing down. The testing slowed down. I think we saw more people from the sports center show up that were, people coming in for different tournaments and things. So that's going to slow down for the local residents also. There's very few local residents, very few. We were doing 1,900 a day, and now we're doing 500 a week. So it's substantially lower, but we're going to continue doing that also, but it's just not going to be as active as it was. So with that, Mr. President, I'll open up for any questions.
Questions for the mayor? Any questions for the mayor? Councilor Doucette?
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Just through you to there, couple of things. First, anyone that the students with the school
Yeah. Anyone under 18 but over 12.
that's good to point out.
Microphone, Dave?
Thank you very much. Also, as well as the CVS's that are in the target ones, also do the vaccine as well. I've noticed that the target, there's
Okay,
two targets,
yeah.
so they're distributing the vaccines as well. So, just as a heads up.
No, we'll still see some of those facilities, just like the flu clinics. We do the big flu clinics, but you go to these pharmacies and they're always offering the flu shot, so.
Councilor Orem?
Thank you, Mr. President. The first would be our activities in town. You mentioned our concerts, thank you. I have friends that are very happy that we're having some concerts on the Common. The parade, the Labor Day parade, any decision on that, Mr. Mayor?
Parade will be moving forward. We're going to be making an announcement in the next few days. Melanie Wampum's been working with Trish Bernard on it, so we've been moving it forward, but they'll start really kicking it into gear. It'll probably be a little bit smaller version than we've had in the past, and we are going to figure out that 50% before then.
And if I may, one other question related to public meetings. City Hall, when we start having public meetings, which we are right now, but the doors are locked, will the doors be open so the public can also participate?
Yes.
They will. Okay, thank you.
Council Pearlman.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Mayor Vigent, for the update. This is very exciting, only 5 cases. I know it's been a long haul for all of us, so we really appreciate that. I had a couple of questions. The first regarding some of the age breakdowns. I know you brought up the student population. Do we have data that could be shared with the council or about the age demographic breakdown? I know nationally there's been a lower vaccination rate for 18 to 24-year-olds for those in that age category, and I wonder if that also is the same here in Marlboro.
The age limit breakdown?
So I know you gave some overall vaccine rate numbers, and I wanted to know if there are any sort of standout categories, such as young people who are not in school but are older than 18, and if that information could be provided at a later date to make sure that the vaccination rates are just as high.
Well, obviously, you know, the older residents, we're at over 88% of our people over 65 have been received at least one dose. 79% are fully vaccinated. At this point, the ones 12 to 19, 66% have received one dose, and 26% have been fully vaccinated. That'll obviously go up substantially after next week when they have their clinic in the schools. So, you know, and we started late in the middle school also. So not many of those have been done and fully vaccinated, but we're working on that.
Okay, I think it'd be helpful, you know, if students are at the college age population, knowing just that they're vaccinated as well, and whether they're getting it here or in at school or another area, I think would be important information to know. And then my other question as well is regarding, I know you gave some numbers for our city. How do we compare with the Metro West area? Are we on par with the vaccination rates?
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying yes, but I'm worried about the city of Marlboro. You know, if you start comparing to other communities, we'll find some that might be a point or two higher, or some, I think we're probably in the upper group because the hospital's been doing such a great job, but, you know, we're right in par with Framingham, we're above Leominster, Fitchburg, that area, but, you know, there might be reasons for that. So I don't want to start using the state numbers because I'm not real confident. I think they're higher than what we've been reported on in the state.
That probably is true, and I just think it's helpful to know the region, especially as people are traveling throughout the area for work and such.
Yeah.
My last question is regarding the COVID portal on the website. I know we mentioned a lot of the testing kind of winding down and the vaccines. Will that portal still maintain up-to-date information if there are any sort of future information that should be reaching the residents?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be maintained for a time being. It's not going to go something into perpetuity, but, you know, for the immediate future, we'll be maintaining the site. And we try to keep it limited to the important things, but also have the access that you can get onto the state site and get lost in their information. They have a ton of information out there, and you can get lost in that information. So we try to keep it to the minimum. I'm sure you can break it down more between the ages and by, you know, nationalities and everything else.
Yeah, no, I think it's helpful for folks just to know that that might be winding down. And just from your comment, one other question regarding some of the, oh, never mind, I think I've addressed that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Perman. Any other questions from the councilors for the mayor? Any questions from the councilors for the mayor? If not, Mr. Mayor, thank you very much.
Thank you all very much.
Move on to agenda item number 3.
Now is the time for the public hearing on the petition of Verizon Wireless for the installation of a small cell wireless facility to be located on pole number 19 within the layout of Boston Post Road West, order number 21-100-8294.
All right, just a few items before we conduct the public hearing. Please keep your computers or phone muted when not speaking, unmute to speak, and then when you're finished speaking, mute again. If you're calling in via phone, you unmute by pressing *6. Just like if the public was in the chamber, please be respectful while waiting for your turn to speak. The system does not work when everyone tries to speak at once. We will do our best to give each individual an opportunity to speak, so please be patient. Do not watch the meeting on TV. There is a time delay, so your remote access capability is real-time. Should there be any technical issues, we will recess and determine if they can be corrected. And then at the conclusion of the public meeting, we may or may not recess, depending on the number of participants, so that we can continue with the rest of the agenda. So this public hearing will be taken in 4 stages. The first stage is public speaking in favor, starting with the applicant. The second portion is questions from the public. Third, public speaking in opposition. And fourth, questions from the council. So we'll start with public speaking in favor, starting with the applicant.
Yes, good evening, Mr. President, members of the City Council. My name is Daniel Klosnick, and if it pleases the council, I'll just give a quick overview. Also available this evening is Rich Feely. He's the program manager. So I wanted to start just by saying I really appreciate the opportunity to meet with the City Council to really review Verizon Wireless's proposal to continue providing improved wireless service to the City of Marlborough. As you can see on your screen, or has been posted on the screen, this proposed small cell attachment is actually located on Boston Post Road West, Route 20. For those of you who are familiar with that area, it's, I guess, near the Sullivan Tire and Mattress Firm shopping center area. It's an area with a lot of shopping centers and other retail establishments, which just are areas of high wireless usage. And also, I just wanted to, by way of background, because this particular utility pole is actually located in the layout of the state highway, Route 20. Verizon Wireless has already obtained the necessary access permit from MassDOT for the installation of the small cell equipment. And what we're trying to do, and I don't know if the City Council has seen other proposals like this, but what we're really trying to do is implement, I think, a creative approach that really uses the existing utility infrastructure to enhance wireless service. And this is something that, Verizon Wireless is implementing throughout the country, really. For purposes of this review, we initially submitted our petition in compliance with your ordinance to the city engineer. We reviewed it with him, and I understand that after his completion of review with the city solicitor office, the city engineer deemed it to be complete and ready, obviously, for submission. We did provide you with a proposed petition and order, a detailed narrative describing our compliance with your ordinance standards, and there was a number of supporting documents, one of those being this location. So I don't know if it would be possible just to move the plans to the next sheet, please. So this was part of the filing that was included. You see on the left a picture of the existing utility pole, and then at the top there, there's a canister style device. That's the proposed antenna that will be mounted to the very top of the utility pole. On the other side, on the right side, is sort of a schematic breakdown if you're more inclined toward that type of detail. But the antenna itself is 14 inches in diameter, and it's 35.4 inches high. It's going to be located at an overall height of 45.66 feet. The utility pole itself is 42.5 feet. So we're just going a little bit over as necessary to get the necessary clearance from the power lines, and also to properly bracket it. As part of the installation, we also installed something called a remote radio heads that processes the signals. There's fiber and AC power, cabling, and then at the lowest point, we install an electrical meter, and this is required by the utility company to just track the usage. So there's absolutely no ground disturbance or ground equipment installed. Everything's taken overhead from the existing electric and fiber. We also provided 2 photo simulations, and there's some other detail in the plans, but I don't know if it's possible if we wanted to look quickly at the photo simulations, because I think really what it illustrates, these are just a little bit more detail. Okay, so that's the existing conditions of the actual utility pole. And then the next slide, that shows you with the Verizon Wireless equipment. And I think visually, going down Route 20, it's not something that anyone's even going to realize or notice. Once again, that's an existing shot. And then that's the proposed once again, and highlighting where the antenna will be and the other equipment. So as I said, nothing on the ground, everything on the utility pole. And this facility really does operate as an integral part of Verizon Wireless's network. I think it's highly advantageous to both the city and the wireless service providers, because it allows us to really target the necessary service in areas where there are capacity demand by utilizing, as I said, the existing utility infrastructure, minimizing the impact on the community. Just for the purpose of the install, Verizon Wireless has entered into a master agreement with the utility pole owners themselves. So although we're entitled to non-discriminatory access, we do need to work with them closely to make sure, and they take a look at the structural capacity, the serviceability, whether or not installing the antennas is compatible with the other equipment that is located on there. So that does significantly limit the actual utility poles that would be available. So it was after a pretty extensive review and probably a number of years of cataloging theirs, working with the utility, that we selected and presented this to you. So, and in addition, we'll be fully compliant with Verizon Wireless's FCC licensing. So basically what we've tried to do here is provide the service in the least impactful manner, and we request that this council look favorably upon this petition. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Klasnick. Is there anyone else speaking in favor of the proposal? Anyone else speaking in favor? Is there anyone else speaking in favor? Hearing none, I close that part of the public hearing. Questions from the public? Are there any questions from the public? And it's *6 to unmute your phone. Questions from the public? Any questions from the public? Hearing none, I close that part of the public hearing. Public speaking in opposition. Are there any members of the public speaking in opposition? Members of the public speaking in opposition? And again, *6 if you're calling in from the phone to unmute. Any members of the public speaking in opposition? Hearing none, I close that part of the public hearing. Questions from the city councilors? Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Just one question for clarification. This is a fifth-generation wireless antenna, is that right?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Is this a fifth-generation antenna?
No, this is part of Verizon Wireless's 4G LTE system.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilor Doucette. Anyone else? Anyone else? Councilor Landers.
I just want to mention, Mr. President, that this is in committee, Public Service Committee, and we'll get to it soon. One comment I do want to make, though. You know, this is quite enlightening to see that up 46 feet, because one pole west of this pole, there's a box about 5 feet off the ground, and that's probably half the size of our desk. That's not so nice. So this works out fine. So we will discuss some of these things. I might have a few more questions when it does go into committee, Mr. President, but there's no reason that when we schedule this, we could get right to work on it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Landers. Any other questions from the city councilors? Questions from the city councilors? Questions from the city councilors? Hearing none, I close that part of the public hearing and the entire public hearing, and this is in public service.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you. We'll move on to agenda item number 4.
Communication from the mayor regarding a transfer request in the amount of $546,738, which moves funds from economic development to MEDC to fund the FY22 operations of Marlboro Economic Development Corporation.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to refer to the Finance Committee.
Motion is made and seconded to refer to the Finance Committee. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counselor Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Council Oram votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Counselor Irish votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
11 yeas.
On the motion to refer the transfer to the Finance Committee, it is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 5.
Communication from the mayor regarding a transfer request in the amount of $150,000 from stabilization open space to open space acquisition to contribute to the purchase of a 33-plus acre parcel off Parmenter Road to enlarge Callahan State Park.
Counselor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to thank Priscilla Ryder, Commission Officer. Done a wonderful job getting this piece of property. A big piece of the puzzle goes back to planning from 1973. Looking at a June 30th, 2021 closing date, if possible. I'd like to make a motion to approve this transfer of $150,000.
Motion made and seconded to approve the transfers. Any discussion on the motion? Counselor Navin.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. This is a great example of what can happen when governments at all levels work together to try and leverage some opportunities. For $150,000, the city is going to help protect 33 acres from development and preserve it for the rest of the city to enjoy. I was fortunate enough to walk this area with the owners of the property. They actually mentioned that back in the winter of 1775 and 1776, General Knox, while liberating some cannons from Fort Ticonderoga crossing through Marlborough, tried to avoid being noticed on their way to Boston and actually crossed over this parcel. So it's a pretty spectacular place, and so hopefully after we protect it, people can get out there and take a look. I wish we'd had some time to send this to committee and talk a little bit about the importance of protecting open space, but sometimes these things work this way, and we got to move on when we have the opportunity. So I did have the opportunity to talk with Priscilla Ryder today, and she is in the process of finishing up the city's open space plan. And during that process, we'll have some ample opportunity for the public to weigh in, and we can talk about the importance of open space and the city's strategy moving forward to protect more open space. So with that said, I look forward to supporting this tonight, and I would like to thank everybody who worked on it to help make it happen.
Thank you, Counselor Navin. And Counselor Oram.
Thank you, Mr. President. I concur with Councilor Navin, actually Councilor Pearlman. Councilor Navin and I walked the site about a year ago to the state. I think it was about a year ago. It might have been 2 years ago. And I don't see any issue sending it to committee. What a great opportunity, 33 acres being protected, the state being involved, Sudbury Valley Land Trust, and so forth. So our portion of it's very minimal, and it's beautiful property. So I suggest highly we support this tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Oram. Counselor Pearlman.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I know my fellow councilors have already addressed this, but we were able to see the site specifically, and it's already very much part of the Callahan State in terms of people walking it. I know the property that was privately owned, people were able to still use it as recreational and conservation land, and I think that it's wonderful that the city is able to leverage these funds with, as Councilor Navin mentioned, other levels of government to be able to secure this land. So I'm also in support of it. I don't know if Priscilla Ryder, I think she's on with us tonight. I did have a question if there was any sort of historic preservation of the particular area, as I know it is such a property that dates back hundreds of years, and so I didn't know if any of that is going into this agreement, or if, I don't know if she's able to speak, but
You'd have to ask for a suspension.
we would have to ask for a suspension. Okay, well, if that is something, I'm going to probably follow up on that, and I can share that with the council, given the time, but I definitely am in support of voting on this tonight and moving it forward. Thank you.
You can ask for a suspension if you wanted to speak tonight. You're entitled to do that.
All right, let's try it, all right? So I'm going to move for a suspension to allow our Conservation and Sustainability Officer, Priscilla Ryder, to share some more information about this particular grant opportunity and the city funds associated with it.
It's been a motion to suspend the rules to allow the Conservation Officer, Ms. Ryder, to speak. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll for the suspension.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Landers.
Councilor Landis votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counselor Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Counselor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Counselor Irish votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Ossing votes yes.
Counselor Tenera.
Counselor Tenera votes yes.
11 yeas.
Motion to suspend the rules to allow Priscilla Ryder to speak is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. Ms. Ryder, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, and I'm glad everybody's supporting this. And I don't know all the history of this property, but when oftentimes those things come up as you know, we learn about them, and then if they're useful information for people to share, then DCR or we can, you know, share that. So I think that's good information, and I'm happy to pursue that and work with DCR to do that.
Does that satisfy you, Council Perlman?
Yes, thank you, Priscilla Ryder. Thank you for being on here tonight and for pursuing this. Yes, it's really helpful. If there's any information you could get to provide back to the council, I've just heard a lot about all the historic, both like the roads kind of that went through it and the different artifacts found, and I think that's something that we should learn more about and make sure that it's able to be preserved in that state as well. Thank you.
That's good.
Any other questions, Council Doucette?
Not for Priscilla Ryder, I just have a general question, but
Any other questions for Priscilla? Hearing none, Council Doucette.
thank you very much, Mr. President. I'm actually all for this as well. It's a part of Ward 2, and I walked through it a couple of years ago, and it's you know, one of the few natural areas that are left in the ward, and glad to see that it's being preserved for perpetuity. So, thank you.
Thank you, Council Doucette. Is there any discussion on the motion?
President Ossing, Councilor Roby.
I'm back to the mail agenda.
Backwards.
Council Roby.
Thank you, President Ossing. When we first moved to Massachusetts, we were fortunate to rent property at Easley Farm, which is very close to this piece of property, and it was wonderful while we lived there. The owner of Easley at the time, Alan Glick, had donated property to the state, and the O'Donnell family had also already donated. So there's a lot of history. I used to walk through those woods on a regular basis. I still go back to Callahan to walk through. I'm very familiar with the O'Donnell farm and the land, and it's beautiful, and it's wonderful that everybody has been able to get together, as Councilor Navin had said, that we're working with the state and with Sudbury Valley trustees, and the city's portion is relatively small to gain 33 acres. So I certainly support this also. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Roby. Any other discussion? Seeing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll to approve the transfer for the purchase of the property.
Counselor Irish.
Council Irish votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Counselor Perlman.
Counselor Perlman, enthusiastically yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Landers.
Counselor Landis votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counselor Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Council Oram votes yes.
Counselor Tenera.
Counselor Tenera votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to approve the transfer is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Thank you, councilors. Agenda item number 6.
Communication from the mayor regarding reappointments to the Conservation Commission of Karen Paquin for a term to expire on May 5th, 2023, John Scarron for a term to expire on March 7th, 2022, and Alan White for a term to expire on March 2nd, 2024.
Councilor Dumas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Refer to personnel.
Motion made and seconded to refer to the Personnel Department. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Counselor Landers.
Counselor Landis votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Tenera.
Counselor Tenera votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Council Oram votes yes.
Counselor Perlman.
Counselor Perlman votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Council Irish votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counselor Wagner votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to refer the reappointments to the Personnel Committee is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 7.
Communication from the mayor regarding reappointments to the Parks and Recreation Commission of Robert F. Kays, William F. Doherty Jr., and Mark A. Vital for 3-year terms respectively to expire on April 2nd, 2024.
Councilor Dumas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Refer to personnel.
Motion made and seconded to refer to the Personnel Committee. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Counselor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Council Irish votes yes.
Counselor Perlman.
Counselor Perlman votes yes.
Counselor Tenera.
Counselor Tenera votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Council Oram votes yes.
Counselor Landers.
Counselor Landis votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counsel Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Doucette?
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Ossing?
Counselor Ossing votes yes.
Counselor Navin?
Counselor Navin votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
Motion to refer the reappointments to the Personnel Committee is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 8.
Communication from City Solicitor Jason Grossfield regarding the proposed ordinance amendment to Chapter 270, Building and Site Development, Article 5, Fences, relative to Section 19, Permit Required, and Section 24, Easements and Right-of-Way, in proper legal form, Order Number 21-100-8221.
Counselor Tenera.
Mr. President, motion to move this item down to number 15.
Been a motion made and seconded to move this item down to agenda item number 15. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Counselor Tenera.
Counselor Tenera votes yes.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Counselor Irish votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Ossing votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Landers.
Council Landis votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counsel Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Counselor Oram votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to refer agenda item 8 down to agenda item number 15 is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 9.
Communication from City Solicitor Jason Grossfield regarding proposed ordinance amendment to Chapter 510 Sewers, Section 2D, Use of Public Sewers, as submitted by Mayor Vigent in proper legal form, Order Number 21-100-8230.
Counselor Landers.
Thank you, Mr. President. A motion to move this to item 18.
Motion made and seconded to move agenda item 9 down to agenda item 18. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Landers.
Council Landis votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Tenera.
Counselor Tenera votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counsel Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Ossing votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Counselor Irish votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Counselor Oram votes yes.
Yes, sir.
Motion to move agenda item 9 down to agenda item number 18 is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 10.
Communication from Assistant City Solicitor Jason Peaks regarding the application for a special permit from Calverde Naturals LLC to operate an adult-use marijuana retail establishment at 239 Boston Post Road West in proper legal form, order number 21-100-8214B.
Mr. President, Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move this to item number 19.
Motion made and seconded to move agenda item number 10 down to agenda item number 19. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Counselor Oram votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Ossing votes yes.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Tenera.
Counselor Tenera votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Counselor Irish votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Landers.
Council Landis votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counsel Wagner votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
Motion to move agenda item number 10 down to agenda item 19 is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 11.
Communication from Building Commissioner Tin Hui regarding the request for approval of a canopy for the drive-through at Chick-fil-A, 36 Apex Drive, within the Hospitality and Recreation Mixed Use Overlay District.
Mr. President, Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to refer to Urban Affairs.
Motion made and seconded to refer this item to the Urban Affairs Committee. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Counselor Oram.
Counselor Oram votes yes.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Ossing votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Counselor Irish votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counsel Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Tenera.
Counselor Tenera votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Landers.
Council Landis votes yes.
11 yeas.
On the motion to refer the Chick-fil-A canopy to Urban Affairs, it is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 12.
Minutes of boards, commissions, and committees.
Mr. President.
Counselor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Motion to accept and place on file the minutes of the boards, commission, and committees.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file the minutes. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Counselor Wagner.
Counselor Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Counselor Irish votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Landers.
Council Landis votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Ossing votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Tenera.
Counselor Tenera votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Council Oram votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
On the motion to accept and place on file the minutes, it is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 13.
Claims.
Mr. President,
Counselor Doucette.
motion to send the claims to legal department.
Motion made and seconded to refer the claims to the legal department. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counselor Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Tenera.
Counselor Tenera votes yes.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Ossing votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Counselor Irish votes yes.
Counselor Landers.
Council Landis votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Council Oram votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
On the motion to refer the claims to the legal department, it is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. I don't want to steal your thunder. No, shoot. It's me. Reports of committees. Are there any reports of committees? Reports of committees. Counselor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Just to let people know, there's going to be a Climate Resiliency Committee meeting on June 29th.
Climate resiliency on June 29. Any other reports of committees? Counselor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Public service announcement, Finance Committee will be meeting on June 14th, 2021 at 6:30 PM. Thank you.
Mr. President, Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby.
Thank you. I have a report to make from Urban Affairs and Housing. So the Urban Affairs and Housing Committee met on Thursday, June 3rd. We had several items on our agenda. The first one was order number 21, 108-266, the proposed rezoning of 290 Hudson Street identified as map 43, parcel 38 from limited industrial to residence A3, requested by Councilor Irish. He had asked for this to be rezoned at the request of the property owner. We discussed this in committee. Nobody had an issue, thought that it was a very decent thing of the council to do to make it easier on the owners. Councilor Doucette moved to recommend approval pending the input from the planning board. The motion received a second. The vote was 5-0 in favor. So this will lie on the table until our next meeting for a final vote, which we should have the planning board's recommendation from tonight's meeting. The next item was order number 21, 108-275, a request to amend the freestanding gas pricing sign, mobile 656 Boston Post Road East within the Wayside zoning district. We had Attorney Falk and City Solicitor Grossfield present to discuss this. The council had approved an LED sign special permit for the site. We looked at the information. They are simply changing the existing panels that read All Town and Auto Wash and replacing them with All Town Fresh, Handcrafted Kitchen and Market, and All Town Car Wash. Councilor Doucette moved to recommend approval of the changes to the sign. The motion received a second. The vote was 5-0 in favor. And the solicitor indicated he would submit an order in proper form to reflect the changes when this is on the agenda for the final vote at our next meeting. Our next item agenda was order number 21, 108-216, a proposed zoning map amendment to the Results Way Mixed Use Overlay District and proposed revision to Chapter 650, Section 33 of the Zoning Code. We had Attorney Peter Tam from Golston and Stores present. We went over that we had actually begun reviewing this on May 11th, where we had a lengthy discussion on hazardous and toxic chemicals. At the May 25th meeting, We went over the language and went through all of the proposed amendments. What was left on the table was, at the request of the applicant, this was postponed so that they could work on the issue of the language for manufacturing and or warehousing that may use and store hazardous or toxic chemicals. So at the meeting on June 3rd, there was discussion about that language. All of that was agreed to. There was lengthy discussion about how to proceed, as the last day to act on this is June 21st. And there was concern that if the vote was taken on that date and a councilor objected to passage in one evening, we would need to start all over with a new public hearing. The agenda for the June 7th meeting was amended to have this on the agenda, so that piece was taken care of. But we would need to suspend the rules to actually vote on this tonight, and it didn't seem that there was enough support to do that at our meeting. So if there is not enough support, the council president has already posted a special meeting for June 14th where this item would be on the agenda, and that would allow final passage to take place on June 21st if needed. So Councilor Doucette moved to recommend approval to proposed revisions to Chapter 650, Section 33 Results Way Mixed Use Overlay District, and the zoning map is amended. The motion received a second. The vote was 3-2 with Councilors Landers and Roby opposed. The final item on our agenda was order number 21-108-277, the application for site plan review from attorney Brian Falk on behalf of OHU to construct a mixed-use project within the Marlboro Village District 28 South Bolton Street. We had another lengthy discussion on this, looking at the design that they had brought back to us after we had looked at this before. We began this discussion on May 25th. I think the sense from the committee members at the Urban Affairs Committee meeting was that the new design wasn't really highly liked. Some aspects of it were. We liked the brick that was put completely around the first floor to cover the garage space. So it was agreed that the applicant would create a final design using the version submitted on May 25th, incorporating the brick wall, and would be bringing it back to us. We need to finalize, I believe the meeting date has been set, so that will be on the agenda, and that part remains in committee. We adjourned the meeting at 9:28 p.m.
Thank you, Councilor Roby. One of the longer reports. Councilor Dumas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Personnel will meet next Monday at 7:30. That's it.
So just council, just to remind us, so next Monday, 6/14, there'll be a finance meeting, personnel committee meeting, and the city council will hold a city council meeting at 8 o'clock on Monday, June 14th. So just so everybody's clear on that. Any other reports of committees? Hearing none. Agenda item 14.
Ordered that the mayor's office work with the city clerk to provide the council with a summary of vacancies and expired board and commission members and develop a clear process on our website by which residents can apply to join boards and commissions and see the responsibilities associated with that board, submitted by Councilor Perlman.
Councilor Perlman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to refer to the Personnel Committee for discussion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Councilor Perlman.
Thank you, Mr. President. The point of this particular order is I think there's a lot of residents in the community who would like to join boards and commissions. And on our website, there is information available about who's on those boards as well as what the responsibilities might be, but it doesn't really clarify the process by which someone could apply to join a board and what that would look like. And I've seen a lot of efforts previously in other communities. I know Hudson has a board and commission interest form, and a lot of other communities are using different systems. And so I had more comments, but I'm happy to continue going. But my intention is really to have more residents involved in our community. I know civic engagement is a huge piece, And we know that boards and commissions, we often say that we'd like to get new members on, and we have a lot of the same individuals who are getting reappointed, which is amazing, but I'm concerned about what happens when they no longer want to be reappointed, and we need to have transition plans. So I'm hoping this will have an opportunity to get more people involved in the community and be able to participate in our boards. And I'm happy to give some more information, but I will pause there. If it's able to get into committee, then I'll be able to talk a little bit more there. Thank you.
Any other discussion on the motion?
Mr. President, this is Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you. While I applaud the desire to bring in new members to boards and commissions, I'm not sure that it is the council's job to develop a clear process on the website. I think that's the mayor's office's job. So the language of this is not something I really support. I think we all as councilors are actively trying to get residents to join boards and commissions. I think the mayor's office is also. There's lots of articles in the newspapers. I think how people can do it is out there. If people want to pursue this, they can. I think the program the mayor's office is putting on with the learning process for the citizens is very good, but I don't see the need for us to have a discussion on something that I think is already happening. And since we don't have the ability to make rules about what's on the website, that's not our purview. I'm not sure what the purpose of this meeting would be. So I will not vote in favor of referring but that's just me personally. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Roby. Any other discussion on the motion? Councilor Orem.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will agree, since I've been here since 1990 with a little sabbatical in between, there is less and less interaction with the public. And I don't know, I'm not blaming us for that. It's just I've seen it through those years. Even when I call myself a junior councilor, but sorry, ward councilor, as a ward councilor back in the 90s, we had the public in this building participating at our meetings, not, in the background, but more importantly, and I see it less and less, participating at our subcommittee meetings. We always left room for the general public to comment within an organized fashion, and I don't see that. And even if this doesn't get passed on the floor tonight, maybe it will generate a news article, maybe it will generate some ideas from the mayor's office in trying to get more people involved, and I do commend the mayor's office for having that mini course section. I hope we see more of those. And I hope, especially I see it more with our youth, that you see more involvement. I've seen it when we started talking about the Youth Advisory Committee. Our youth started commenting, and that made me feel great, that they're starting to listen, they're paying attention, and I hope we start seeing them in these chambers. And I hope we see a very, very competitive year this year for our campaigning. It's unfortunate if we don't. And maybe just that comment might generate a news article to wake people up to say, hey, guess what? Marlboro's got an election coming up this year. You can actually run. You can be 18 years old and run for a position, and so be it. I think it will generate a lot of good ideas. It'll put us all on our toes. And even if this does not get submitted to personnel, I hope it generates interest to the media. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Orem. Anyone else? Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I think overall that the advantage of what I see as far as this order is more or less to develop more transparency for the work of the city. And I think I'm all for any type of increased transparency for the city. Maybe there should be one of the mayor's courses should address how to be part of a committee. That could be part of the discussion process. So I don't see any problem in having this in a discussion to figure out how we get our citizens more engaged in the process. There's nothing wrong with that, and I think there's a big opportunity with that. So I'm definitely going to be supporting this, so thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Doucette. Any other discussion? Councilor Dumas.
Thank you, Mr. President. As the chair of personnel, I think that is a fantastic idea for the intent, but I don't think it's the personnel committee to be the spokesperson as to recruit or how to get citizens or constituents more involved in the process. I think I'd be more than happy to sit down with the mayor, and Samantha, you're more than welcome to join me and discuss how to streamline that a better way, but I don't think the personnel committee I think that'd be overreach of the actual committee. Our sole purpose is to reappoint qualified members that we feel fit to those board and committees, but not necessarily do an outreach plan for our constituent base as to be more involved with the council as a whole. I could be wrong, that just be my interaction, but I think we could do this offline and not at a personnel committee. That's just my 2 cents. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Dumas. Any other councilors? Councilor Landers.
Thank you, Mr. President. Quite honestly, I don't think we need the Personnel Committee to do this. I think we can do it. I've been out and about, I can't tell you why, the last couple of weeks, and I bet I've talked to between 5 and 7 people talking up, get involved. We have openings here, we have this. And the response from them, I think, was a lot better than discussing this at a Personnel Committee meeting. So what we have to do, all right, we're out there all the time. We got to indicate that, there are boards, commissions out there, and just from talking to you, I know you got some good knowledge. What you need is that invite to get involved. So I think we ought to pledge tonight that we each try to approach 5 people, that would be 55 altogether, and get them involved. Takes that personal touch, not a personnel committee meeting. Okay, thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Landers. Well said. Any other comments or questions? Councilor Wagner.
I appreciate, I'm hearing that maybe it doesn't really fit, but I think the conversation is really important, and it's just clear expectations and how to invite people in and be successful in the role is really important, because it's more than a warm body saying, hey, I think I'd like to be on, say, conservation. Do you know, I'm always impressed with the level of skill and expertise and grateful for the people we have on our boards, and it's not, that's setting somebody up for success. Do you understand what the role of this is? Could you, have you ever attended a meeting? Do you see what the process is? And so when somebody really steps up, they are informed and ready to step in and understand what the role is. And that really wouldn't hurt, because it's way more than, here's the form, fill it out, pick a committee you want to be on. It's that, there's a real need. Those committees serve a purpose, and matching the skills from the person so they enjoy it and are actually contributing and getting the job done is really important. So I would welcome a conversation. How do we realistically bring people in so that they enjoy it and are contributing to the work of the city? Does it fit in this, I'm hearing, does it fit in this role? Maybe not, but at least maybe starting a conversation couldn't hurt.
I'm just making sure everybody else is all done. Anyone else? Councilor Perlman.
Thank you, Mr. President, and appreciate the comments from my fellow councilors. As someone who was a young person who applied for a commission several years ago, I found it a little bit confusing to get involved, and I think it's wonderful for us to reach out to our personal networks or do that offline, but I think that just perpetuates who's involved in city government, who are the people sitting in every seat and in position of leadership. And I think it's important for this conversation to be public, which the City Council has obviously recorded. It allows people to have that information. It's wonderful that we had the Local Government Academy. I hope that continues, but I know it was capped at a certain number of residents, and it will continue in the future. But we really should be having this conversation, even if it's just, here's what the process looks like, and detailing what it currently is and identifying improvements. I don't think there would be another space for us all collectively to bring our innovative ideas together and be able to share that. And I know many residents across the city have asked me how to get involved. I'm able to share them the different boards and commissions, but I think the process could be clarified. And I've listed several communities across Massachusetts: Brookline, Worcester, Oak Bluffs, and Martha's Vineyard, Medford, Newton. I mentioned Hudson before, that have something very clear on their website about how to join a board and commission, what the process might look like. As many of you have seen, it can take several months depending on when the City Council is meeting and when the boards and commissions are meeting. And I think the public deserves that information, and I think it's our responsibility to be creating civically engaged residents within the community. So I'm in support of this. I obviously filed it as an order, and I would welcome that support as well so that we can continue to encourage a new generation of leadership within the city and that people are giving back, which we know the pandemic has showed us how important local government is, and I imagine a lot more people will want to be involved. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Mr. President, this is Councilor Roby. I don't want to belabor this, and I do appreciate the enthusiasm of Councilor Perlman, but I think as it was stated, this is the city council really is not in the role of doing this. I think this is the mayor's responsibility. Also, the mayor is the one making the nominations to the city council. So to me, the people shouldn't even be coming down to us without the information that the mayor should be giving them to know exactly what they're doing when they would sit on those boards and commissions. It shouldn't be the city council's job to tell them what being on a specific board or commission is. The information is out there. I think Councilor Perlman can talk to the mayor or talk to the mayor's aide and give them recommendations if she's got suggestions for updating the website. But to me, that's not our role.
Councilor Dumas.
Just to piggyback on that, thank you, Councilor Roby. I think my concern is if this comes from personnel, the personnel is the final approving of the actual position. If the start comes from personnel and we start recruiting from internally, I think there might be a perception from the community that there's an inside track and then that we're recruiting people of like mind rather than who's most qualified for the position. That's just my 2 cents. So if it comes from the mayor's office, there's that degree of separation or another whole subset committee to engage in actual recruitment of the process, so it's separate from the personnel committee, so there is no conflict of interest, because we are the final decision for that role in any regards. Thank you.
Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much. This is the type of conversation that we need to have on this topic, and I appreciate the dialogue that we're having right now, whether or not it goes into committee or not, okay? Because this is a very important issue for democracy, to have people engaged. Okay, and I think that whatever comes out of personnel would be accepted and placed on file. There's no action to go beyond that. So there's nothing to be approved except to effectively put the documentation and record. This is how it is in 2021, trying to get people involved in Marlborough City Hall actions. You know, absolutely, it eventually goes up to the mayor. But, you know, the information that's out there now is hiding in plain sight. No one knows where to find it because there's so much other stuff there. And I think that's the point, you know. There's a lot of stuff that we need to basically identify so that it is clarified that if someone wants to get involved with this, whether or not they know us or not, you know, they have an opportunity to go to the website of the city to figure out how they want to get involved. You know, maybe they just moved in from another town and they were involved in another town and they want to try to do the same thing here. That's happened many times in the city. So I think that this is a great opportunity, and I appreciate the discussion that we're having now.
Anyone else? Councilor Perlman.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I want to appreciate the comments. To Councilor Dumas's point, you know, if there's a recommendation of a different committee so that it is separate and allows for that separation of power, you know, I do welcome that. I don't know if this is an operation and oversight situation, but I do know that given our current committee structure, this one seemed the most fit, given that dynamic. And to Councilor Roby's point, I do think that even if there are some piecemeal information available, I don't think it's clear enough for someone who might be hesitant. I think we really need to diversify who's on our boards and commissions, especially by age, and I think it's really important that we give people that information up front so they're very aware of the responsibilities. And, you know, people might be nervous to approach the mayor's office or be nervous to approach their city councilor, but if that information is publicly available and they can see it, and I think having a discussion, as Councilor Doucette mentioned, you know, I'm not asking, this does not say recruitment, this says to identify what the process looks like. It doesn't say, and then here's a bunch of people that we'd like to have be on these boards and commissions. It's saying it should be open to everybody, and then the information should be there. So I guess my comment would be that, you know, it's not a recruitment tool, and if there is another committee, that I welcome that as well, if another councilor has an idea of that. But I think it should move forward, and it would be something that is a discussion that benefits the further democracy and citizenship of our community here in Marlborough. Thank you.
just a point of information, remember, the mayor makes the appointments. As city councilors are three functions: enact laws, approve appropriations, grant special permits, and then also appoint board positions to boards, not create those. Just as a point of information. Any other discussion? Council
I
Landis.
just want to repeat again, try it. Some of you people are still out getting your signatures, so you talk. I mean, I probably, I don't know, I submitted mine, but I think it was 75 or 80 names on my papers. And I'm not saying I mentioned to every one of them, but I talked to a guy up off of Lincoln Street today. He was down digging a ditch, and one other guy was on a board, and that's what I said to him. Join him. Get on with him. That's not a bad idea. Some people need to be invited. You gotta talk it up. You know people out there, they're in your ward, or you see them around town. I mean, the last 15 months have been tough, but you see someone. We had a young man that sat out here for a year or so at city council meetings. I think we all went after him, and he's on a board. That's what you have to do. Some people, especially if they're new in town or fairly new, I mean, I've been here 61 years and they still consider me new. But try it. Get out there in the community, the groups that you hang out with, the people that you walk out of church with or you shop with, and say, you'd be a great one to serve on this board or that board. And I think we'll get more out of that. And all you tell them to do is, some of the boards, call the mayor's office. Don't call us. Don't call Karen. Don't go to personnel. Go to the mayor's office. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Any other discussion? On the motion to refer to the Personnel Committee, I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Ossing votes no.
Counselor Landers.
Counselor Landis votes no.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Council Oram votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Tenera.
Excuse me. Council Tenera votes no.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes no.
Counselor Irish.
Council Irish votes no.
Counselor Wagner.
Counselor Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
I'm the deciding vote, yeah?
You are.
How fitting. I won't be able to sleep at night knowing that there could be a possible conflict of interest, so I apologize, and I'm going to vote no.
5 yeas, 6 nays.
The motion to refer to the Personnel Department does not pass in a vote of six opposed, 5 in favor. Agenda item 15.
Order number 21-100, 8221, proposed ordinance amendment to the code, Chapter 270, Building and Site Development, Article 5, fences relative to Section 19, permit required, in addition to Section 24, easements and right-of-way. Recommendation of the Legislative and Legal Affairs Committee is to approve as amended.
Mr. President,
Councilor
motion to advertise.
Councilor Tenera, motion's been made and seconded to advertise the fence ordinance changes. Are there any discussion on the motion? Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I'm the one that started this. I appreciate this going through the process that it is. I also appreciate all the work that was done by the building inspection group and the legal team putting this together. This really helps shore up some of the issues that we had with fencing, so it makes it a little bit more modern as far as what the committee has and community has for addressing this issue. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, on the motion to advertise the changes to the fence ordinance, I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Council Irish votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Council Oram votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Counselor Tenera.
Council Tenera votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counselor Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Landers.
Councilor Landis votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
11 yeas.
The motion to advertise the fence ordinance is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item 16.
Order number 21-100, 8295, application for renewal of a junk dealer secondhand dealer license by Best Buy Store, Donnelly Donald J. Lynch Boulevard. Recommendation of the Public Services Committee is to approve, pending the recommendation of the police chief.
Councilor
Thank you,
Landers.
Mr. President, because we did receive word from Chief Georgie that the query was approved, now is the time, Mr. President, that I will make the motion to approve this junk dealer's license.
Motion made and seconded to approve the Best Buy junk dealer license. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Rossing votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Tanara.
Council Tenera votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Council Oram votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Council Irish votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Council Wagner votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to approve the junk dealer license for Best Buy is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item 17.
Order number 21-100, 8296, application for renewal of a junk dealer second-hand dealer license by Eco ATM, which is a kiosk at the Solomon Pond Mall. Recommendation of the Public Services Committee is to approve.
Counselor Landers.
Motion to approve, Mr. President.
Motion made and seconded to approve the junk dealer license for Echo ATM. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Rossing votes yes.
Counselor Tanara.
Council Tenera votes no.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Council Oram votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Council Irish votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Council Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
And Counselor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
10 in favor, 1 opposed, sir.
The motion to approve the junk dealer license for Echo ATM is approved. 10 in favor, 1 opposed. Agenda item 18.
Order number 21-100, 8230, proposed ordinance amendment to the City Code, Chapter 510, Sewers, Section 2D, Use of Public Sewers, as submitted by Mayor Vigent. Recommendation of the Public Services Committee is to approve.
Counselor Landers.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to make a motion here, Mr. President, to advertise the amended sewer ordinance that was placed in proper form by the solicitor that, as a result of agenda number 9. So this is a motion to advertise.
Motion made and seconded to advertise the sewer ordinance as submitted by the solicitor. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Counselor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Council Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Tanara.
Council Tenera votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Council Irish votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Council Oram votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Rossing votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
On the motion to advertise the changes to the sewer ordinance, it is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item 19.
Order number 21-100, 8214B, application for a special permit from Calverde Naturals LLC to operate an adult-use marijuana retail establishment at 239 Boston Post Road West. Recommendation of the Urban Affairs Committee is to approve.
Mr. President, Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move the recommendation of committee, which is to approve.
Motion made and seconded to move the recommendation of the committee, which is to approve the special permit. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I will ask the clerk to read conditions.
City Council, pursuant to its authority under Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 40A, and the zoning ordinance of the City of Marlborough, hereby grants the applicant a special permit to operate an adult-use marijuana retail establishment subject to the following conditions, which conditions shall be binding on the applicant and successors and/or assigns. 1, construction in accordance with applicable laws. Construction is to be in accordance with all applicable building codes and zoning regulations in effect in the City of Marlborough and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. 2, compliance with applicable laws. The applicant, its successors, and/or assigns agrees to comply with all municipal, state, and federal rules, regulations, and ordinances as they may apply to construction, maintenance, and operation of the use, including, without limitation, the regulations promulgated by the Massachusetts Cannabis Control Commission. 3, site plan review. The issuance of the special permit is further subject to detailed site plan review in accordance with the City of Marlborough Site Plan Review Ordinance prior to the issuance of the building permit as required by Chapter 650, Section 32E of the zoning ordinance. Any additional changes, alterations, modifications, or amendments as required during the process of site plan review shall be further conditions attached to the building permit, and no occupancy permit shall be issued until the applicant has complied with all conditions. Subsequent site plan review shall be consistent with the conditions of the special permit and the plans submitted, reviewed, and approved by the City Council as a special permit granting authority. 4, incorporation of submissions. All plans, photo renderings, site evaluations, briefs, and other documentation provided by the applicant as part of the application and/or as amended, revised during the application hearing process before the City Council and/or City Council's Urban Affairs Committee are hereby incorporated into and become part of this special permit and become conditions and requirements of the same unless otherwise altered by the City Council. 5, compliance with state requirements. In accordance with Chapter 650, Section 1846C of the zoning ordinance, the use shall comply with all statutes and regulations of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts for licensure and operation of an adult-use marijuana retail establishment. 6, security. A, as shown on the plans, the applicant and successors and/or assigned shall maintain a secure entry and exit vestibule, providing a physical separation between the exterior door of the unit and interior areas of the unit where marijuana and marijuana-infused products are dispensed and sold, with security personnel available during operating hours to screen individuals arriving at the unit, to ensure that interior areas of the unit are only accessible to persons over the age of 21, and to ensure that no individuals pose a direct threat to the health or safety of others. B, as shown on the plans, the use shall have opaque exterior windows. C, the applicant and successors and/or assigned shall maintain adequate staffing so that customers may make purchases in an efficient manner to avoid queuing and impacts on neighboring uses. D, the applicant and successors and/or assigned shall maintain surveillance cameras capable of 24-hour video recording, archiving recordings, and the ability to immediately produce images in, on, around, or at the use. 7, processing and odors. There shall be no processing or manufacturing of marijuana or marijuana-infused products as part of the use. Marijuana and marijuana products shall be prepackaged and sealed prior to arriving at the site. Any odors associated with marijuana and marijuana-infused products shall be limited to the interior of the unit. There shall be no on-site consumption or use of marijuana or marijuana-infused products associated with the use. Hours, the maximum hours of operation of the use shall be Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. 9, contact information. The applicant and successors and/or assigned shall provide current contact information of management and staff to the Chief of Police, the Building Commissioner, and City Council. 10, annual reports. The applicant and successors and/or assigned shall submit to the City Council the same annual reports that must be provided to the Massachusetts Cannabis Control Commission. 11, inspection and records. The applicant and successors and/or assigned shall make the use available for all regular inspections by city officials or their agents, and shall provide city officials or their agents with access to the same records which are available for inspection to the Massachusetts Cannabis Control Commission. 12, background checks. The applicant and successors and/or assigned shall require that employees undergo a criminal background check, including but not limited to Corey, and an additional background check by the Chief of Police, who shall have the authority to disapprove the employment of any persons as a result of said background check. 13, unrelated materials. The applicant and successors and/or assigns shall not make available for sale as part of the use any materials or items unrelated to the purpose of registration by the Massachusetts Cannabis Control Commission, including without limitation, tobacco products, clove cigarettes, or e-cigarettes. 14, police detail. The applicant and successors and/or assigns shall employ a City of Marlborough police detail at the site during all operating hours for the first 60 days after the commencement of operation, unless the Chief of Police determines in a letter filed with the City Council that the police detail is not necessary during certain times of the day. Within the 60-day period, if the Chief of Police determines in a letter filed with the City Council that a police detail is not necessary during any hour of operation, then the applicant shall stop employing a City of Marlborough police detail. Otherwise, at the end of the 60-day period, if the Chief of Police determines in a letter filed with the City Council that a police detail is still necessary during operating hours or at certain times, then the applicant and successors and/or assigns shall continue to employ a City of Marlborough police detail until deemed unnecessary by the Chief of Police in a letter filed with the City Council. In the event a City of Marlborough police detail is not available when required, the applicant and successors and/or assigns shall obtain a private detail. 15, lapse of special permit. This special permit shall lapse if the applicant fails to commence retail operations at the site within 3 years of the date of approval of the special permit, not including any time during an appeal under Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 48, Section 17. The applicant may, with good cause, request the City Council extend the provisions of this section. 16, recording of decision. In accordance with the provisions of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 48, Section 11, the applicant and successors and/or assigns shall at its expense record the special permit in the Middlesex County South Registry of Deeds after the city clerk has certified that the 20-day period for appealing the special permit has elapsed with no appeal having been filed, and before the applicant is applied to the building commissioner for a building permit. Upon recording, the applicant shall forthwith provide a copy of the recorded special permit to the city council's office, the building department, and the city solicitor's office. Thank you. Good.
Nice job, Mr. Kerrigan. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the special permit. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Tenera.
Counselor Tenera votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Counselor Oram votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Rossing votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Counselor Irish votes yes.
Counselor Landers.
Council Landis votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counselor Wagner votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The special permit is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed.
Mr. President,
Counselor Tenera.
to adjourn.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Counselor Wagner.
Counselor Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Counselor Irish votes yes.
Counselor Tenera.
Counselor Tenera votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Counselor Oram votes yes.
Counselor Landers.
Council Landis votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
And Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Rossing votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to adjourn is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. We are adjourned at 9:22. Have a good evening, everyone. Thank you.